Business Express on Smooth 98.1 in association with Sigma Pensions.
I'll do it.
Sigma
Come out.
Pensions, working
Thank
for
you.
you.
Here we go. Studio, you're on. Lagos City, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is a productive Tuesday. Business Express on Smooth 98.1 FM. I am Rotus. I am joined by the man himself, Head of Investment Research at Sigma Pensions, Mr. Wale Okuriboye. Wale, good morning to you, sir.
Morning, Rotus. Thank you.
Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. Lagos, you know the drill. 0809-444-0981. Send in your messages. We're streaming live on YouTube, youtube.com/smooth981. And we're also on Twitter at smooth91fm. Let us begin. Wale, the story here is that our dear central bank is planning on lending, making loans to, I believe it's Niger Delta farmers. Doesn't matter where they are, it's more farmers. They're lending to more farmers at single digits interest rates. Wale, what do we take? What do we think of this latest development with the CBN wanting to lend to more farmers?
I think it was just a few weeks ago that we were talking about rice farmers in Kebbi defaulting
Yes.
on their loans.
Yes.
The CBN is still continuing on that path of more interventions in the economy. Then what we're trying to discussing just before we go on air was that I think the problem with these interventions is that the more CBN does it on its own balance sheet, the more people begin to raise doubts about CBN's own financial standing because you're lending this money at single digit interest rates. And then on the other hand, however, you're funding yourself using loans, using formal bills you're issuing at double digit rates. So clearly you're running a negative spread on your own balance sheet. And so, but beyond that, I think also is that because the CBN is doing the CBN's job really is to come up with macro policies that focus on macroeconomic stability. I mean, if you want to intervene to segments of the credit market that you feel are underserved, I think it's better for us to have we have development finance banks. You get like Development Bank of Nigeria, Bank of Agriculture, Bank of Industry. So you can, rather than you keeping it on your own self, I mean, most of these banks are essentially subsidiaries or associates of the CBN. You can push funding to these, you can empower or capitalize these banks and let them focus on those target segments. These guys have the operational capacity to be able to do that. And they can also, I mean, if there are any issues there, you can isolate the issues to those banks and maybe their loan books are bad, you can clean up the loan book. They need capital, you can top up their capital. But I think rather than us doing this, CBN is like the Father Christmas giving out money to everybody. I mean, I think it's always a bit of a problem if you're doing it that way because sometimes it also conflicts with what you're doing on the other hand to the official banking system. I mean, you have the official banking system where, I mean, you're pursuing a different policy, and then on the other hand, you're also pursuing a different policy here, giving out single-digit interest rates, and then in the banking system, you seem to be saying, okay, there's too much liquidity, I need to tighten by a CRR. Yeah, so it's sort of like it's just sending mixed signals, and I think it's always better for isolate it. I mean, if you want to intervene, let it be via a separate development finance institution that can do that, as against you yourself, doing it. Yeah.
What about is the narrative though with whether or not these loans are actually being put to good use and the farmers are actually being able? There's this whole narrative about our yields per hectare and then the mechanized need for mechanized farming. That conversation still hasn't died. I mean, it's still
there.
It's still there.
Yeah, I mean, the problem in Nigeria is, I mean, if you look at quite a lot of crops that we produce locally, or perhaps the world's biggest producer of yam, maybe cassava, sorghum as well, we produce quite significant volumes. But we look at the yields here, they're always very low. And what that tells you is that the science of doing it, we're not getting it right on that front. So, I mean, we perhaps need a lot of agricultural extension services, a lot of things with crop varieties, fertilizer to improve soil quality, and also the mechanization that goes with it as well. I mean, American farmers, they use, I mean, not much labor here, but they achieve almost record high yields with production. So I think for us, getting the science we haven't quite worked it out yet. Agriculture is very intensive work. I mean, countries that get it right, I mean, it takes years and years of them pushing significantly, investing capital, investing knowledge, in trying to get to those levels. We haven't made as much investment as we've done. Most of our investment is just in expanding cultivation, bringing more people there. So That's always a problem.
Is there a fear of the cost? Because I checked. Look, a tractor is, I mean, it's like buying a car. Anywhere from 2 million to 13, 15, 16 million. Is that a worry
Yes, so,
if you want to go there?
but countries can always find innovative ways of tractor leasing. You can come up with all these schemes via where people can. I mean, we're in a world where Uber people are no longer need to have a car. I mean, we can come up with ways via which you can share this cost around and provide it on a more cheaper scale to farmers that are available. But I think the prime also is our cropping. Our most of our farmers are subsisting essentially, small farms again. So there's very limited use for you to have a tractor if you're just managing a very small farm. But if we get to significant extent, we need to get more commercial farms into operation. And again, I think it's just essentially the entire value chain, not just looking at it from because there are culture and there's a lot of work there. So you need to be feeding into somebody's input. And
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think that's
Let's now pivot to this investment question that somebody sent me yesterday. Yeah? I think there was a let me see here. He sent this to me on Twitter. Yeah, okay. This is from Oluwashe at Shei Ojo. Says, "Hi Rotos, I saw this on one of the BRT buses. Can this be true?" This is still within the agri space, so because now we're pivoting into a story where the SEC is talking about clamping down on wonder banks and certain wild investments. But very troubling here. But because of the reactions I got, hi Rotus, I saw this on one of the BRT buses. Can this be true? 50% return in 6 months just for investing in a corn farm. And he sends a picture of a BRT bus. And I'll tweet. I'm sure some of you have seen this because I was responding to it yesterday on Twitter, but I'll probably retweet it on the Smooth FM handle. It says invest in a corn farm, 50% return. Now, while it be require minimum investment, I think they're asking for 100,000 per unit. I won't go into the name or anything, but I'll put it out there. Are you concerned with this? This agri-tech or agri, I don't even know what to call it, agri-investment avenues, or this all that keep popping up? Because apparently somebody else messaged me on WhatsApp, told me that the CEO was on television talking about this investment, and they weren't sure about investing in it, but because the CEO was on a TV channel talking about it, they now went and put a little money into it. Somebody else messaged me. So can we get into this for just a moment? Because again, 50% in 6 months for corn. Your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how they generate that much.
Yeah.
That much because both of us know perhaps a lot of corn farmers, and I don't think they're making that much returns in the business. I think the problem with these crowdfunding schemes essentially is that between SEC and somebody, I think the CBN, one of them needs to find a way to bring some sort of sanity into how these schemes go. I mean, I'm not trying to say they should sort of shut them down or anything, but I think the idea is you're seeing 60%. I mean, you're going to see a lot of that. Some of them are real, some of them are not real. So, and I think for the players there, they need to find a way to get some form of registration or some form of way by which you can distinguish the real guys from the guys who are doing things. And more importantly is how do you generate these returns? I think there needs to be some explanation into how these returns come about, because people who are actually in the farm industry are not seeing those returns, but you are seeing it. So
right,
there need to be some
farmers. There are people who do corn, and
there needs to be some explanation of what you guys are doing. You don't necessarily need to tell us your trade secrets or anything, but just a broad description of what you do, and then finally the risks as well.
Thank you.
Because we focus on returns, but it might as well just go the other way. And if it goes the other way, I mean, who's going to explain to the people who have funded the schemes? So I think between SEC and CBN, I mean, if you're raising money publicly, and not just a small amount of money, a large amount of money, then you should be willing to go through a process that just ensures that everybody, you tick all the boxes that we are sure that you're really what you say you are.
All right, let's look at some messages here. Some Samson, just to clarify, the DBN, Development Bank of Nigeria, is not a government-owned company, and their rates are commercial. I think you are referring to development finance institutions, yeah? Because on the CBN's website, thank you for that, Samson. Yeah, Bank of Agriculture, Bank of Industry, Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, and a number of other ones. Let's see now. We have a message from Ade. I don't understand why the CBN isn't using farmer money from BOI and the VPs to push this initiative. Just seems collaboration is an issue with our governance. Let's see here. This is from, is it Papi K? No, it's from Emmanuel. We need to invest in R&D, research and development. We can't be planting old cultivars and we expect high yields. Agriculture is what we need to save our country, but we should invest in it, research and development. Tractors can be leased and rented if need be. Investors will always invest in that section of agriculture. That's from Emmanuel. Let's see now. Good morning, Rotis from Okoro. The IMF advised that the CBN is to desist from forex intervention. Can you give some background? I didn't hear about that one, Okoro. Did you hear about that? So the IMF said CBN should desist from a forex intervention. I have to check the news, Okoro. If they did say that, that would be a bit troubling. This is from Ify. Ify says, I think it's a scam. Their insurance provider doesn't seem genuine. I checked their website, nothing about agric insurance, and there's no rain. Corn isn't that profitable. However, they might be doing so because they are new and want to break into the space. This is Ify responding to that particular agric offer. Okay, well, you know what? This actually takes us into, we're still talking about SEC, which you've already addressed, but the headline here: Wonder Bank's operators lose assets worth 2.35 billion to SEC. I think this was in Nairametrics. So SEC essentially was saying they've blocked bank accounts, seized property of Ponzi schemes worth about 2.3. Well, the thing I want to ask you is that it seems that they are very focused on physical buildings, and a lot of these schemes, I'm noticing a lot of them are coming online. From my perspective, I don't know, this SEC seems to be, they're making, 2.35 billion is a large amount of money. They're doing the work, but do you think more effort can be placed in chasing after some of these schemes that appear online, that don't have physical buildings that you can close down, and so on?
Yeah, I think between, again, that's why I said between the SEC and maybe the central bank, you probably have a lot of room to be able to sort of clamp down on most of the ones that come online. I guess the physical ones are for operations that are maybe outside of the urban centers. You have a lot of maybe just people just running mini banks outside of Lagos and just taking money from people. So I think, well, yes, in a low interest rate environment where domestic interest rates are low, you're going to find a lot of these schemes mushroom just because, people have quite a number of liquidity and interest rates are low. So anybody who promises you something that looks quite enticing, you find more willing takers, more people willing to risk.
Thank you for that. Let's see here. Okay, here's Papi K. Rotus, I've been saying it and I'll keep saying it. Uncle Murphy is the real Minister of Agriculture and part-time CBN governor, focusing on the minor and ignoring the major functions. Policy somersaults everywhere, every day and everywhere. He then goes into, talks about the CRR increase and how it's been affecting the space. And then, Prince is a farmer. Prince, as it says, Rotus, let me tell you, as someone who's into farming as a side hustle, what these guys are doing is a modified version of MMM. There's no way you can make that return in 6 months. That's from Prince. Let's see, who is it? Please add your name to your. Okay, Abiodun. Say hi, Rotus and Wale. Who registers these agri-tech guys? I thought SEC said you can't pull money from the public anyhow. So that's part of what you were saying, Wale, about the SEC working hard to try and modify this. Let's see here. Yemi says our country isn't ready for greatness. Yemi, why so pessimistic? Thank you all for your messages. Okay, let's see now. Wale, real quick, there's a new committee that's being put together with regards to a new economic development plan. So the federal government has appointed a committee for a new economic development plan. It makes one ask about the ERGP, which I hear it's winding down in December, Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. I predict a lot of sarcastic responses from people like Benga and Yinka on this one. But what are your thoughts, Wale, on the new committee for a new economic development plan?
We like plans.
One plan after another. Plan.
Independence. During my undergraduate, I read all through Nigeria's 5-year development plans from 1960 to 1985. And we stopped doing those 5-year plans, switched to visions in 2010, 2020. Now we're talking about another plan again. I think, I don't know, but we're just not. We never. It just doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
It never. The ERGP was the most recent, and again, also, it didn't hit any of its targets, and we didn't really implement it in the sense that government policies and budgets actually fed directly from it. You didn't get that sense there was a linkage, and so that's why the outcomes are different from what the ERGP was looking at. So, I mean, I think if we want to do something, is I mean, let's just focus on objectives, endpoints. If we're going to privatize the sector, let's privatize it. I mean, all these grand plans.
Plans
I
left
mean,
and right.
it doesn't always seem to work.
And
I
there's
mean, we
always
don't
a
have the discipline to get these things, get our acts together. I mean, we're talking about Jamaica. I mean, and they were in trouble 10 years ago, and
yes.
they fixed it because why? Because everybody, the political side, the monetary policy side, the fiscal policy side, all came together and focused on fixing it. But in our own case, we tend to get that everybody is working at different cross purposes. The federal is different from the state, monetary, fiscal, everybody's working in different directions. So it's coordination is a big game, and if you can't coordinate, then of course, plans
It's just
is never going to work.
on paper. Ade says all these crowdfunding schemes should have insurance on the NDIC. I think the NDIC is just focused on banks.
Deposit,
Deposits. Yeah. Ibrahim says, "Hi, Roses. Has CBN reversed the new policy on milk?" Ha, Ibrahim. In fact, this one I'm asking. Where's the other headline? Nestle, Wamco, and others to set up processing plants in Abuja. Ibrahim, there's your answer. There hasn't been any reversal on that matter. This is from Samson again on the issue of these schemes. I believe the regulators and other legitimate stakeholders should invest into educating the public about all of these, as most people are not aware that they are fake. Wale, what happened to our, all these awareness campaigns? I can't remember the last major awareness campaign for a particular issue. I mean, I remember those days of, family planning, and I don't see, where are they? What's going on in that regard now? I thought Nigeria used to be really heavy on awareness campaigns, and for the investment public, and so on. Well, what's going on? It doesn't seem. Is it money or what?
Well, I mean, I guess for financial literacy and financial education, most of the parties involved in the finance sector, banks, insurance companies, pension funds, everybody, it's a collective game. I mean, everybody needs to be involved in trying to get everybody up to speed on, or at least some people have suggested, trying to ensure financial literacy is included in some curriculum, maybe at secondary or university level at least, so that people at least become finance savvy at least before they come out of school. I think that probably is a way to go, because the reason why these schemes sort of proliferate is just because you have a lot of ignorance out there, and people don't know what's their left from their right, and so naturally they always find that. And we don't have a culture of people consulting financial advisors like a doctor. So what that means is that a lot of people take typically uninformed decisions, and I think if people don't know, then the idea of getting people to consult a financial advisor, or at least speak to someone who is we don't have that financial advisory profession
culture.
That's widespread here. So I think that's partly where the problem is.
Wow. Benga Kamo says, do we need a committee for a new economic plan? We have more than enough plans. Let us implement. Benga, you also sent me a message yesterday. I'll get to, probably we're running out of time, but I'll get to that. Okay, Mazino is giving me the air traffic control signals. I have like a couple minutes here. Shani says, I knew the ERGP was a scam when the government's biggest social investment scheme, trader money and market money, weren't included in the plan. Musa says, if the agri investors are insured, then it's a good venture to try. Musa, again, 50% in 6 months. I don't know about that. So, Papi K says committee back to back plans over and over and over. What's really our sin in Nigeria, Seth? The grand team that the president put together, what happened to that one again? That's the, I think, Economic Advisory Council. They actually came out with something a couple of days ago, 3 days ago. And Papi K says, damn it, it's just not working. Okay, only 1 minute to go, real quick. If I do have enough time for this, should we move on to tomorrow? Because this story, maybe we'll have to extend it to tomorrow. Central Bank governor says that he's worried about the remittances coming into the country, and as far as Nigerians receiving forex, real quick in less than a minute, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's all part of getting control of all supplies. So I think the central bank, reserves have been going down. So I think that's partly where most of this community is coming from. If they can get their hands on as much dollars as they can, sure. Yeah.
So demand management. Head of Investment Research. I love talking to this guy, Mr. Wale Okunriboye of Sigma Pensions. Wale, always a pleasure for you coming hearing your thoughts on all economic matters. And of course, just as important as Wale, our listeners. I appreciate you all. Thank you for your messages. We continue. Nigeria is an interesting investment case and business study case. Business Express will be back tomorrow morning on Smooth 98.1 FM. Keep it locked. Thank you. Thank you.
Business Express on Smooth 98.